Hi Tarot Tribe, it's Ethany, and today I'm going to talk about oracle decks and tarot readings. How we can use these magical things to help each other and to aid our practice. So like many tarot readers, I have an abundance of oracle decks that I use in my spiritual practice. If you've seen anything of mine on social media, you've probably seen a lot of my decks, and I have Oracle Wednesday, which has featured more oracle decks and tarot decks. So I use them on my own, and I also use them with the tarot. So I'm going to go through a few ways in which you can use oracle decks with your tarot in readings. This is from my personal experience, like everything I do here. So I encourage you to take what you feel inspired by, incorporate it into your practice, and leave the rest, as always. I feel like that's like my disclaimer, but I have to say it every time just in case this is the first video of mine that you've ever seen. So the difference between oracle decks and tarot. Now I go through this, I kind of drill through this in Tarot Essentials quite a lot, but there is a difference between tarot and oracle decks, and the OCD Virgo rising in me gets a little agitated when they get labeled as the same thing, when they are completely different systems. And it's cool, you know, if I don't get annoyed per se, I just kind of go, it's a little voice in me goes, it's different. But they are different. So they are the same in the fact that they're cards, and they fall under the umbrella of cartomancy, which is using cards to divine or tell the future, and more modernly used as tools for self-development and reflection and healing. So yes, they are cards and they're used for those things, and that's a very that's where they're kind of the same. But the tarot has a structure. There is most likely 78 cards in your tarot deck. Some decks have more or less, but the majority of tarot decks have 78 cards, and they are divided into the major arcana, the minor arcana, and the court cards. So they have a structure, and then there's structures within that structure, and then there's correspondences within those structures. And again, I go through this in Tarot Essentials, but I'm not going to kind of drill into all that now. Whereas oracle decks are all very individual. You can pick up 5 different oracle decks and have 5 completely different structures and card counts. Whereas you can see that the structure of a tarot deck is exact or only slightly altered deck to deck, so you can take that knowledge and transfer it. Whereas oracle decks are standalone. It's like tarot is a series and oracles are a standalone. So there are a bunch of different ways that they differ. You can look at the title and the number of the cards. That will tell you if you're working with a tarot deck or an oracle deck. Usually it's the title of the cards when you go to buy it. It'll be the Green Witch Tarot or the Animalkin Oracle cards. Tarot Oracle, look for those keywords if you're not sure. So how do you use oracle decks and tarot together? Here are my offerings, and I would love to know how you do it as well. So make sure you let me know in the comments. So you can use it before a reading. So a really nice practice, if you have a client come in, is to start your session with an oracle reading. It can help get you and your client in the zone. So if we've all had busy days, your client could have just come from a stressful day at work or an argument with their partner, or just be feeling low energy, and a nice way to get everyone in a beautiful, connected, calm space is to pick a deck. So this is the Animalkin Oracle deck by Sarah Wilder. Give them the deck. So it's nice to, I find it's nice to ask them to hold something because it's a very connecting way. Ask them to hold it, close their eyes, take a deep breath, and just pick a card when they feel ready. Or you can pull a Vanessa Ives from Penny Dreadful, and isn't she just fabulous, and fan them out on the table, minus being so damn graceful about it. Honestly, I'm not that graceful at all. And then ask your clients to close their eyes, again, breathe deeply, have them hover their hands over the cards, and then pick one. It's also a really good way to kind of pick the theme of the reading, or maybe where your client is really focused on. So it's a nice way to start a reading. for sure. And then you can do it within a tarot reading. So this would involve laying out the oracle cards alongside tarot cards in a reading or a spread. I love doing this, and I usually lay out my tarot cards first using the tarot spread I've picked out for the client, and then place the oracle cards afterwards. It's all about the layers, like Shrek and Donkey talked about layers and onions. It's all about layers. How this works and how this can help your tarot practice is that the tarot is very deep. It's very multifaceted. There are many meanings to one card. So let's take the Two of Cups, for example. The Two of Cups can be love, it can be romantic love, platonic love, it can be a heart-centered relationship that is a partnership, it can be an exchange, it can be a reflection of who you are. So there are many different layers that, and that's probably just me rattling them off the top of my head, there's probably more than that. So how do you know which one it is? Now, some of this is going to come from experience, some of it's going to come with the spread and the position. But say, for example, if you pulled a oracle card for it, and say you pulled a balance card, then maybe this card is telling your client now to get emotionally balanced or find some emotional balance. Maybe they've been out of kilter. And again, you want to look at context, you want to look at the rest of the reading, you want to have a look at the question they've asked, all that sort of stuff, but it can help you narrow it down. It can help connect the cards as a sort of bridge. So things that you can do to aid your practice is, is there something dominating in the tarot reading or missing in the tarot reading? And often the oracle cards can help shed some light or bring some balance to a reading. So that's a really cool way of using the oracle cards. Another aspect of using the oracle cards alongside a tarot reading is to see how they relate to each other. So is there a compatibility or an opposing force, and what does that mean to your client and the situation? This may get a little bit confusing if you're just starting your practice, but if you're looking at trying something new, see about those two questions and add that to your tarot practice. If you find this to be too confusing, don't force anything. Try a few things, pick out what works for you, and then, like I said, leave the rest, but at least experiment a little bit, because it's all about learning and trying and seeing if you can access your intuition in different ways. And then the third way that I use oracle decks and tarot is closing out the reading, and it's something that I have been doing for years. After seeing my tarot mentor do this in her readings when I learnt from her, and when I firstly got a reading from her, I really loved the way that she closed out her readings with an oracle card. This is a really beautiful way to seal the circle, to close the space, to give a final message. And by allowing your client to pick a single card or give a few cards of oracle cards, it does really give that overall theme and a final message. And remember, it may be the one thing that they remember if they haven't recorded the reading. And I'm all for people recording readings, whether they do it on their phone. I used to have a tape recorder. I used to have those tape recorders, but now people do it on their phones. I have found that 90% of the time, nearly all the time, when I do this, the oracle card is always spot on with giving a wonderful message within the theme of the reading for my clients. If I'm reading over Skype or in person, I always give my clients a few decks to choose from. And yeah, for me, it's just a lovely way of closing out the reading. This is some of my practices and some of the things that I do with my clients. I'd love to hear about your relationship with oracle cards. Did you start out with oracle cards, or did you find the tarot first? Do you use oracle decks for your readings? How is your relationship with oracle cards? And do you want to see more videos on how to use oracles? Do you want me to give you some example spreads or some example readings? Let me know. I'd love to make a video for you. So thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe to my channel.